slope has been mentioned, which was adjacent to the road. The coach was heavily loaded with trunks and barrels, some which fell on top of the Italian tradesman, breaking just about every bone in his body. So he fell down crushed. It was in such grave condition, he could not return to the coach. He was forced to remain on the road and seek lodgings in a nearby village. The priest, on the other hand, was not touched. He was completely unharmed. The tradesman, meaning the Italian fellow, nevertheless was loath to let him leave his side. Notice he said to the priest, "Don't leave me," asserting that he was duty-bound to remain with him lest he die. In addition to this, they were both mortified to the quick, meaning they were really bothered by realizing how we had rejoiced in their downfall. He got the 8 Jews in the car, and all that God had shown, and in all that the God in whom they themselves placed their trust had shown us. Now, obviously these are hashgacha pratis, but going the wrong way. I mean, if you're a Catholic, the story should happen the other way around. Thus did our tormentors leave us, and we parted from them in peace. Having seen vengeance upon our foes, we resumed our journey, rejoicing and full of good cheer. We sat alone in a spacious carriage, and we could observe, obviously they schlepped the carriage back up. We could observe our religious duties without hindrance along the way. They could put their tefillin on and daven. With help of the Almighty, blessed be, we reached Brun healthy and in good spirits. There, who should I chance upon but the priest who I met on the road? He shook his head at me and said, never again would he travel in the same coach with a Jew. Right? That's a wonderful writer. Now, I say that because, this is what travel is when you have the stagecoach, and this is the travel also, as you see, before the emancipation, when the Jew really is a fifth-class citizen, and you can do whatever you want to him. And there's no civil rights commission to complain to, or any of that kind of business. At the time they're talking about, in Bohemia, Moravia, they had the Familiaten Gazettes, where you're not even allowed to get married unless you're the oldest child in the family. Think about that. You're not allowed to get married unless you're the oldest child in the family. So there were all kind of gzeros on the Jews, and it was really tough. However, by the way, just to share with you, I'm not going to read from it, there's one other very, very famous travelogue from the same period of the 1700s, from the Chidah. That's the second picture here. The most famous Sephardic Rabbi of the 18th century, Dovid, who among the 100 or so Sfarim that he wrote, I don't exaggerate, he left a travelogue. He was Mashiach from Eretz Yisrael at a time when a Mashiach was a high position. In other words, they sent their most prestigious rabbi to do so. Somewhat similar, maybe some of us will remember, some of the Chashuv Rosh Hashivas from Lithuania, others to come to America collecting, isn't different than just a Mashiach. So that's the way it was, and he actually kept a diary. He was an inveterate writer called Ma'agal Tov, which has recently been translated by someone from Gateshead, no less, diary of a Rabbi Chaim Azalai. And you want to find out all he has also many stories about having to travel through Innsbruck and all these other extremely anti-Semitic places, and it was difficult, but daf machan aleben, as they say, and you put up with it, and that's what a Jew was compelled to do in these kinds of situations. The truth of the matter is, it's even more complex than that. The Sefer Hasidim is written not in the modern Hasidic times, the modern Hasidic movement, but from the 1200s, what they call the Hasidi Ashkenaz, Rabbi Yehuda Chassid, and his associates. Again, this is the 13th century, back in Germany. This is not the modern Hasidim, and it's an extraordinary sefer because it makes every paragraph is completely unrelated to the other one, and they have the most unbelievable stories and piskei halacha and many, many politically incorrect kinds of things that they say over there. Like he said, the number one sin in the Torah is to cheat a guy, and these were the ultra orthodox. So it's but that's one of many. So he has a whole section up here about what it means to travel in the Middle Ages when, if anything, things were a lot worse than what I just read you. Okay? I mean, years ago I highlighted a lot of it, but for our purposes, let us simply say that he has a whole section about Jews who convert and then want to come back to Judaism. Heimir, lashut, lachzor. Very common. One reason or another, under duress or under passion or a variety of other reasons, the Jew converts and then subsequently wants to not to. So they talk about the fact that if someone, he has many stories here. So one of them is that a Jew converted and subsequently didn't want to convert, and then he wanted to go back, but he couldn't do it in town, and so the question was, could he run away? And the local Jews say, if you do that, we'll get in trouble, they'll kill us. So you have to say you're going on Our Lady of Lourdes, you're going 1,000 miles away to a